Hi, so in this video, I wanted to clarify a little bit about the inspection process and how that works. So we tend to find that, there's a couple of different types of buyers that we work with. Some buyers are kind of, not just more relaxed, and some others are a lot more cautious, right? So as a full disclosure, we always 100% recommend to our buyers that they hire a professional licensed property inspector to do their inspection. Now, yes, depending on the size of the property, it's going to cost you anywhere between $250 to $500 if you're buying, or $600 if you're buying a really large home that's maybe, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 square feet. So it varies, right? The larger the home, the more expensive the property inspection is. But typically, I'm rounding off figures, but if you're buying a property that's let's say 1,200 square feet, maybe a two-bedroom condo. Today the property inspection might be somewhere around less than $300, right? Now some buyers will think, oh, $300, I'd rather save that money, and I can understand that. Of course, everyone wants to save some money. However, I don't recommend it. Number one, when you're buying a property, if you're spending $300 on a property inspection, chances are you're buying at least a $200,000 property. Think about it. Would you buy a $200,000 Ferrari, right, and not inspect it? Of course you wouldn't. You would hire the best possible mechanic that you have, and to make sure that that Ferrari is actually worth $200,000, right? Like obviously assuming that it's like if it was used, right? But with a property, it's the same situation, right? So I always recommend that you hire a property inspector. What happens sometimes, and it's that we have a buyer that tells us, listen, my cousin is, he works in construction, and so he's gonna come and take a look at it. Okay, sounds good, fair enough. We will, of course, from our end, we will have you as a buyer sign a disclosure saying that we recommended that you hire a professional licensed inspector. Here's why. Because depending on who the inspector is or who it is that you have doing the inspection, they may or may not be detailed enough. They may or may not, for example, get up on the roof, right? Look at the electrical panel, look at the plumbing, look at all the electrical systems, right? And once we pass the inspection period, if we pass that period and you move forward and later on you realize that, oh wow, there's an issue, you're not going to be able to negotiate, right? Also, the other reason that we hire a professional property inspector is because those property inspectors are going to give us a very detailed and thorough and professional looking report, which if everything is perfect, then it's good. But if they find something that is not perfect, whether it's electrical, roof, plumbing, AC, appliances, structure, foundation, settling, anything that they find, now we have a third-party entity, third-party individual, licensed and insured, that we can use to justify our negotiations, right? So now we can tell the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, we hired an inspector, this is what they found, and now it's indisputable, right? They can't say, well, he's lying because this is what they found. They're a professional. Also, once we do that, even if the seller says, you know what, I'm not going to do any repairs, I'm not going to lower my price, which happens very rarely. If that happens, now because we disclosed it to them, by law, that seller and their realtor will also have to disclose all these issues to a new buyer. So you can imagine that the chances of that seller not doing a deal with us is going to, the chances of us not being able to work a deal out are very minimal because of that situation. But we wouldn't be able to do that if we just said, hey, my cousin found this issue, because they're going to say, well, who's your cousin? What does he do? Is he a licensed property inspector? Did they do a report? And if they didn't, it's very hard to document, to justify, to prove, right, in a negotiation. So that's really the main reason that we hire an inspector. Again, yes, it is going to cost a few $100s, but I promise you, even if they find that everything is perfect, it's money well spent. especially if you're buying a property, which you're going to spend, you know, at least a couple $100,000 into this investment. And so you want to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. So anyway, I hope you find that helpful. Of course, as always, let us know if you have questions about this or anything else at any time, and we'll catch you in the next video.